All right, everybody's telling me I should film, so here we go. Into the bucket. This is oak, I believe, or redwood from a local park. I don't exactly know. Actually, I think it's oak. And then these are a bunch of gum pods. These are the sugar amber or whatever, amber, whatever. And then I have some like regular pine cones. I got these little wavy guys in here. I took up a bunch of the space down here on the sides where I couldn't fit pine cones or anything. I basically just smashed a bunch of the gum pods and jammed them in there. They're not too tight because I didn't want to have like a bunch of flaky stuff floating around. This log though has some like pretty cool little features in it. Right here where you see this limb coming off, right here there's a massive crack that goes all the way down to the bottom. And so what I think I'm going to do, I'm going to play. I'm going to see, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to put a really dark green in here, and then I'm going to make a gold after I do my vacuum and everything here for about an hour. What I'm going to do before I go into the pressure pot over there, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some 24-hour curing epoxy and I'm going to put that in, and it's going to be like gold, I think. I think I'll do gold. And then I'm going to let that drip through during the pressure. We'll see what happens. All right, so I know I said I would film, but I didn't. I said green, and then purple fell out. I don't know. I used purple and this other stuff called crystal white. I'm still planning to, look at that. Looks like an ocean. And then I did like a light violet color. So it's got a lot of work going on there. You can see those little bubbles coming up. In just a second, we're going over there to the vacuum pot. And yeah, I'll pick it up over there. All right, here we go. The vacuum is on. All right, so now what's happening is we're going to start pulling all the air out of the casting inside. And so you're going to start to see a bunch of bubbles going all crazy in there. See them? Blip, 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 blip. That's all the air coming out. Now remember, in there's a bunch of gum pods. There's a bunch of pine cone seeds. Those big wavy seeds are actually hollow. And so I drilled holes into them. And so what I'm going to do now, by pulling out all the air that I can, we're basically going to start replacing it with epoxy. And so we'll bring it down to basically 1 inch of a -1 inch, which is what they call full vacuum. And at that point, there's no more pressure in there. And then basically it'll continue to bubble out air, and you just continue to keep it under pressure. We're going to do this for about an hour, maybe a little bit more. And really what I'm trying to do is fill all those gum pods with epoxy. And so we're doing that by sucking out as much air as we can. And then I'll go back and I'll put it under regular pressure. And then I'll use 10 pounds of pressure to take all of that epoxy and infuse it into the things that are in there. So yeah, this is going to go on for an hour. It looks just like this. It's nothing special. So later on, it'll go over into the pressure pot. That's not as fun of a process because you don't see the bubbles or anything. But the reason why I use both is that while this will extract as much air as possible and we will replace it with epoxy, the thing that the pressure pot does is that it'll put 6 times the weight of the atmosphere behind all of this stuff, and it will continue to push it in. Now, if you notice, the epoxy is starting to rise the closer I get to full vacuum. And that's because it's foaming, and that foam is all the air coming up and bubbling and mixing through. Now, the reason why I'm going to put the second color in last is I actually want some color separation. I want the color to go through this epoxy. That's why I'm using a quicker cure. And that's also why I'll do it before it goes into pressure. Anyway, hope you enjoy. All right. 2 hours of vacuum. Looks good. I actually already put the top coat in there, the gold. You can see some of it swirly around in there. Yeah, I didn't wait long enough, but it's starting to kick out some heat. If you look here, you can see the condensation on the wall. It's kind of cool out here in the garage. And this stuff's starting to get a little warm. All right, this is that casting I showed you earlier that I've been working on the last couple days. So in here, there are, like, you can see the liquid amber balls. These are the spiky balls. Down here there's some pine cones. We have these little seeds, and you can see where they're coming out here. So I'm really excited to see what's here. There's some inconsistency here in the casting down here on the bottom, a bunch of googly, and then there's like some holes and shit down here. I'm sorry, there's some holes and stuff down here. And my guess is these are primarily because of the glue I used. So I used a glue to adhere all these liquid amber balls. So I just took some, what is it, Starcraft or whatever, Star Bond, and I just like sprinkled Star Bond in there and or super glue, and just let it bond everything together. And I did that for one purpose. That's because if you don't do that, you have to have some type of cap or weight on what you're doing, because if not, your stuff likes to float in epoxy, and then you end up with this weird area down on one end where there's no artifacting, right? So you're not getting any of your wood or anything, or your seeds or any of your stuff. And then on the other hand, it all ends up bunched up on one part, but also that means it's going to be carried up with a lot of air, so you'll have a lot of pockets of bubbles. I am seeing some bubble pockets in here and some incomplete casting stuff. So this thing might get a little nasty as I start into it, and it might start chipping and flying everywhere. So let's just let's see what happens, eh? Sneak peek at the Cheshire. I like calling it the Cheshire because like all these little seeds in here, they look like a Cheshire cat's smile. So let's take a look. Boom, boom. Look at that. As it dries, it's going to turn a little bit more cloudy. But maybe I'll soak it a little for you. Look at that. I'm just spraying a little alcohol on it. Alcohol fills in all those scratches, makes everything look all glossy, and then it dries right up. So that's the side. There's the top. Look at that. Boom, 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 boom. I don't even know if there's a way to do the Cheshire proper here. But look at this. This one is just finished, just came out of clean. I love all these little seeds in here. That's why I call it the Cheshire, because these look like the different smiles of the Cheshire cat. Look at that. So this one is a piece of oak, I guess garbage, termite wood. I got it at a local park called Bram Hall Park here in San Jose. These are liquid amber spiky balls. Sometimes people call them monkey balls. Sometimes they're just called spike balls. Whatever. They're those crappy little things that always end up sticking in your foot. I get a bunch of them from a local park called Butcher, where I take my dog. This is my favorite seed right here. This one right here looks like the whole Cheshire cat's face. And then these are those wavy little brown seeds that you see everywhere. So there you go. It's about 7.5 inches tall. It's about 7 or so inches at the shoulder. And this guy's available for sale.